Close to 1,300 to the wheels. My name is Joe. I'm the founder of PPG Performance, and this is what I do. Specialize in LS power plants. Mainly start off with Corvettes and Camaros, but anything LS, we do it. So that's a ZR1 416 Darton sleeved motor going in, full build, trunk tank, all that good stuff. You know, E85, DSX aux, Pro Speed, heat exchangers. It recently just left, but it's a similar build to this. It was on Pro EFI with a nitrous kit, but essentially the same setup. So that one should be close to 1,300 to the wheels.
I was gonna guess 11, but I was 2-3.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I expect you to say 15, 1600. But
yeah.
I'm not too sure.
It should be around 1,300 to the wheels. It should be 1,000 just on the blower, and then if we run C85 fuel with the 300 shot on top. I don't see why I couldn't clear 13. So, yeah. This one's similar to it. It's a stock ECU instead, and no nitrous. So,
Not yet.
pretty, no.
Never? Maybe down the road.
Yeah, it's still a lot of power. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe down the road. We'll see. We'll see. However,
If a customer asks for a certain amount of power, and you know, if you feel like they can't handle it, will you still build it for them?
I'll discourage them heavily as much as I can. I mean, I believe everyone could grow into it as long as you're humble and mature enough. You know, you can work your way into it. I mean, when I was 18, you know, I've crashed a few cars myself that are probably out of my league. I learned the hard way. So, you know, as long as you're honest and you're humble and you listen to people that have had more experience, you should be okay. But if you force the car above its limits, above your skill potential limits, then, you know, you're not in good waters. So, you know, you just got to just take it easy and learn, you know. But usually I like to do things in stages where people kind of start off with something more mild and then they could grow into it.
Yeah.
You know, unless financially it just makes more sense to do overkill certain things. Like fuel systems at first, you know, we always try to shoot another extra 100 or 200 extra horsepower just to be safe. You don't ever want to be super limited on fuel, you know, so, and it gives people more room to grow, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And this one's a C5 that we did along I know of, and A&A Corvettes might agree on. It might be the highest horsepower Vortec TI V3, so self-contained TI blower car that we know of. So this thing, I believe, made around 868 to the wheels, which is very impressive for that small blower. Customer recently had a catastrophe in the driveline, so a pretty cool, unique thing about this thing is it's got a C6 ZR1 trans and diff swapped into it. In the C5 world, that's probably pretty rare. C6 subframe, 09 dual mounting points, so kind of addresses all the weak point of the C5 driveline.
I know people are really big Corvette fans right now, so I know they'll just be happy.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not common, and it addresses the weak points. I know a bunch of my buddies had built C5 drivelines, and they make similar power or little, you know, give or take a little more or less, and they've snapped a lot of $6,000 transmissions and diffs. So the C6 swap into it is kind of a cure-all, and it was my first one I've ever done, especially being a ZR1 tranny. There was a couple other provisions that were a little bit different, but I've documented it all, and I'm confident in doing this job again. So for the C5 guys, I got a little bit of a cure if you're heavy-footed and you got some power. Yeah, so, but yeah, essentially this is what I do, you know, yeah.